Abortion has been legal in England, Scotland and Wales since 1967. It allows a woman to have a termination of her pregnancy up to the 24th week. In 2007, 198,500 women from all kinds of backgrounds had an abortion in this country. About a fifth of them were teenagers. Many young people find it difficult to talk openly with friends and family about the subject. Often school is a more comfortable environment to discuss the issue and to learn more about the choices that are available should an unwanted pregnancy occur. An important aspect of sex and relationship education lessons in school is abortion education. It aims to give students the opportunity to explore and discuss all the major issues surrounding sex, pregnancy and abortion. This programme shows how some schools handle this sensitive subject.
Leanne, what do you think your real choice would be? What would you do?
I'd have an abortion.
An abortion. What would you do?
Keep it.
You'd keep it. What would you do? Is your hand up?
I don't have a clue.
Right, that's actually very real. Wouldn't know.
I would have the baby and give it up for adoption.
Okay.
For someone to decide that they don't want the child, as in to remove that life from someone, I think, to me, that's murder. It's the same as pulling up a gun and shooting someone. To me, that's what abortion is.
At first, I thought abortion was completely wrong, but that was because my aunt used to always think that, and I just think, yeah, she must be right. But then, as so many young people started to get pregnant, I just thought, well, all these young people can't just keep popping out these babies. It's just not going to be good for them.
Last time we were together, we were talking about abortion, and I said to you, what I want you to do is go and get some pictures of fetal development. What you should have is something that looks a little like this. Who can tell me why I asked you to do this, Zara?
So we can talk about how far the baby develops when you can have an abortion.
All right, and who?
I was first aware of abortions around the age of probably 11 because I used to watch a lot of soaps, and obviously it happens a lot in soaps because soaps do have a lot of drama and abortions always come up. And I think that's really bad because a child is a blessing. I think a child is a blessing. I think that's really bad. But then when you watch soaps, the circumstances in which they have abortions are often bad circumstances. For example, rape, examples where a baby would not be appropriate in a person's life.
We were speaking about the subject of abortion with my mum, as I come from a Christian-based household, so it was just something I asked my mother randomly. I was like, Mum, what do you think about abortion? And she said to me, well, if a person can lay down and make a child, then they should be able to take care of it, as it's the repercussion of having unsafe sex.
Your mom tells you don't have a boyfriend. Girls are rebellious. They're going to say, oh, my mom said I shouldn't do it, so I'm going... Yes, some girls. So well, I'm going to do it. And then you go along and you're having fun and things happen. It's not like you're planning to do it. It just happens. Boundaries.
You're having fun, yeah? Having fun 10 feet away. You learn to listen and to hear other views and to understand other views. And you actually get to think from a different perspective. You see things in another way.
OK, what did you want to add to that?
Don't you need to go see a doctor?
I need to see a doctor. Having seen one doctor, is that enough?
No.
How many doctors make the decision? All right, two. Two doctors are going to make the decision as to whether or not I am able to terminate my pregnancy. Did you want to say something?
Don't they only make the decision after 24 weeks?
No, not at all. When you first go to see the person at the clinic, they will say, fair enough, you now need to see a medical professional, who then will have to find someone else to agree that it's OK for you to have your pregnancy terminated.
Around 90% of abortions take place before 12 weeks. Health services advise that it is important to get advice about pregnancy options as early as possible. We talked to many young women who have had to make this difficult decision. In order to describe their experiences without revealing anyone's identity, we engaged the help of an actress. The character, Emma, thinks she might be pregnant. She's heard from a friend about the Camberwell Sexual Health Centre.
Pregnancy test.
OK, have you been in before?
No.
Come with me, I'll get you booked in.
OK, thanks.
What we've tried to create here is an atmosphere that's much more friendly and welcoming than sexual health services have traditionally been. The meeters and greeters, for example, that's a new role. That's about bringing people from behind the desks and welcoming people to the centre so that it's not intimidating, that people feel comfortable coming in.
I mean, have a seat.
Thanks.
Welcome to the clinic, Emma. What can we do for you today?
Missing a period, and I think I might be pregnant.
Okay. How long ago was your last period?
I think about 6 weeks ago.
Okay, and you normally have a regular period every month, roughly?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a pregnancy test in a moment. First of all, I'm going to just tell you about your options. Now, if this is a positive pregnancy test and you wanted to continue with your pregnancy, what you'd have to do is go to your GP and let him or her know that you're pregnant and book in for maternity services. And that will get you involved with the midwife and all the services that are associated with being pregnant. If the pregnancy test was positive and you didn't want to continue with the pregnancy, I could give you the information that you need in order to end the pregnancy. And that would involve contacting a central booking service. Now, we'll do the pregnancy test now and I can tell you a little bit more about those options in a moment. Okay, Emma, have you got your sample of urine, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. Would you mind just opening up the heart for us, please? Thank you. Now, looking at this test now, the pregnancy test has come up positive. So, really, we're in a situation of you considering what you want to do. You don't have to decide anything now, but you know the options in terms of continuing with the pregnancy, and I can give you a bit more information if you wanted to also consider not continuing with the pregnancy. Have you any thoughts at the moment?
I don't want to continue with it.
Okay. What's really important at the moment for you to know is that, you know, your choice is the most important thing at the moment. That's how we provide these services and how the termination of pregnancy service views women using the service. Your choice is the most important, and you're not going to go through a situation where you're going to be judged. You're attending a service where women are supported. And I think you'll get the necessary reassurance as you actually go through this process if you choose to. Okay. Now, what I'll show you now is some information about the central bookings service. What you need to do is, if you want to get in touch with them to start this process off, you need to give them a call on this number.
The more that we can talk to young people in schools about sexual health and the issues that they might face, the better. I think that will also help us hopefully see over time and in the long term a big shift in attitudes towards sex, in attitudes towards sexual health, abortion, and an increase in knowledge and awareness about where to get help if you need it, and how to keep yourself safe and well, which is also really, really important.
Ackland Burley School in North London is trying to help their students by listening to their concerns and involving them in developing school policies and classroom practice. When it came to reviewing the school's SRE policy, they wanted to hear the views of their students. They were given access to an outside advisor who worked with them to help express their ideas and get their thoughts and feelings down on paper.
What do they need to know about sex, and what do they need to learn about relationships? If you could, put the things that you think they need to know about sex on the body itself, and then put the things you think they need to learn about relationships round the person, okay? They wanted to emphasize the element of relationships, emotions, feelings. Those are key issues for young people. And what we know historically is that often people have left school at 16 saying their sex education was too little, too late, and too biological. If we sort of imagine somebody who maybe didn't have such a wide choice because they didn't live in a city, what sorts of people do you think you'd recommend them to talk to?
Parents.
So parents are a good source, do you think, to talk to?
If you feel comfortable, if they feel comfortable, and if there's nothing else. So
yeah.
Abortion, it's a very tricky subject to deal with. The primary thing was basically how it should be taught, and it also came up how we'd like whether we want abortion to be in the actual syllabus and everything with the PSHE lessons. Now, it comes up in RE, but that's just mainly the moral issues of it and the different religious aspects of it and whether they disagree or agree. We never sort of touched on the emotional and physical aspects of it, which is important more important in some senses than the moral issues, I suppose.
What did you have on yours?
Abortion.
Okay.
It's in the body and outside the body.
Yeah, I noticed that was quite clever. You wrote it across the board. Why in and out?
Because there are emotional aspects and physical aspects which are quite, even. So the emotional aspects is making the decision of having the abortion, the moral issues. But, the physical aspects, is actually having it done, what are the costs?
I think I'd like to learn more about the aftermath and how, when you have abortion, what that means for the future. Because there's rumours, I don't know if it's true at all, whether if you have an abortion once, you might not be able to have kids again. And I think the fact that I don't know if that's completely true or not is really important, because it needs to be part of your decision-making.
Okay, so my name's Kate, and I'm here from Education for Choice.
There are many myths surrounding abortion, and to help dispel them, a lot of schools invite guest speakers with sex education expertise to come in to talk to students about the facts.
Before we get started, I always start off by doing some ground rules. As you know, abortion can be a pretty sensitive subject, so I think it's always good to lay down some rules. Do you guys know what I mean by ground rules? Yeah, so kind of...
There are certain things that, as a guest speaker, I always want to make really clear. One is about respecting everyone's beliefs and everyone's opinions. Obviously, abortion is an extremely emotive subject, and I'm never there to change someone's mind about how they feel about it. I'm there to get them to think about some of the issues around it. There's so much misinformation out there. For example, what comes up in every classroom is whether or not abortion causes infertility, which it doesn't. It's a very damaging myth, because we think that sometimes when people do have abortions, they have somewhere in the back of their minds an idea that they can't become pregnant again, which actually leads to repeat unintended conceptions or repeat abortions. So there's the factual stuff and getting that stuff out there and letting them know that there are evidence-based things, that abortion is safe, common, legal. Those are kind of the big three things that I always try to address.
The main reason for having sex is basically having a baby, right? So basically, pleasure. Yeah, pleasure, whatever it's called. Yeah, but I'm speaking, right? Okay, so I was saying, so I wouldn't get myself into that situation in the first place. When I'm ready, I will do it. Okay, let me finish everything I've got planned in my life already. In 10 years' time, I see myself somewhere good, you know. I don't want to see myself pushing a baby. No way. No way, I don't want to do that.
As a girl, we need to know all our options as women, because we have the right to do things like this, and we need to know what's the truth and what it's going to be like. We need to kind of understand exactly what it is before we make a judgment on it. And so if we can learn it in school, it's very helpful.
Something like 1 in 3, possibly 1 in 4 women has an abortion. Now, if that's the case, in every class I teach, potentially 8 of them will have an abortion.
Hello, yes, is this the central booking service? Yeah, well, I've just done a pregnancy test and found out I'm pregnant, and so I think I need to book an appointment to come in for an abortion.